Many people say they believe because they have seen. And I'm telling you, I don't believe because I've seen. Now, I know you're probably thinking that that doesn't make any sense, but I'm going to share with you a couple of anecdotes which illustrate the idea that we probably shouldn't trust our eyes so much. This was some years ago on a summer night. My brother had celebrated his birthday that day at noon, but everyone had left by then and we had finished cleaning and I was locking the doors. So I went out to the backyard, probably to let the dog in, and what I saw was a man sitting in the dark, staring at me. I completely froze. My first thought was who had stayed, but no one had stayed. So my second thought was, if he stands up, I'll run. Now, as I stood there staring at this man who was staring back at me, I realized that I couldn't see his legs. That already seemed like good news because he was not going to stand up. But jokes aside, that detail told me that my eyes were probably fooling me. So I moved no more than a meter to my left, and suddenly the image changed completely. What it really was a pile of chairs, not one, so the chairs on top looked like the torso, and behind the chairs, like a meter behind, but on the same line from my former point of view, right where the head would have been, there was a flower pot with no flowers. So there was no psychopath, there was no ghost. Just a case of pareidolia, a phenomenon by which, given inconclusive information, your brain is forced to fill in the gaps and it makes a mistake. Another summer night, I was with some friends outside when all of a sudden one of them goes, "Look!" We all looked up and we saw this huge green light crossing the sky at super fast speed. Now, I live near an airport, so I can easily recognize an airplane, and that was not an airplane. So it was a UFO for a while, because one of my friends, the one in fact who had first seen the object, happens to be an amateur astronomer. So a couple of days later, she would talk to an acquaintance of hers who's a professional astronomer, and it turned out that on that night, at around that time, a meteorite had been spotted. So the unidentified flying object, or unidentified aerial phenomena as they are now called, can actually be quite accurately identified, at least by people who know what they're looking at when they look up. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed these anecdotes and I hope they have got you thinking, whatever your conclusions might be, okay? See you next time.